We're metaphysical Christians. We realize that we create our reality. Thank you. So how does stuff happen? How does stuff get in our house? You know, have you ever just looked around and go, what is happening? And it's figurative, it's literal, it's in our consciousness. How does this get in our consciousness? If you guys are like me, and these are things that we would not want to call bad because we are metaphysical. We would call them not what we want. Energies that are difficult, challenging, negative, etc., etc. So as metaphysicians, if you are like me, what typically we do is we go, okay, all right, what thought that I have created this? All right, and we try to correlate cause and effect, or we go back, oh, karma. Do I have karma from a past life coming at me? Have I done something I'm not aware of? Direct correlation. And oftentimes we are unable to find the answer. And so this is what Spirit has been working with Cindy on. So I'll just begin, and y'all hang on. We know we're energy beings. We know we're complicated. We are complex. We have this consciousness. Each individual one of us has a consciousness, one with divine, yet localized as well. We have a localized awareness of tactile relationships, of emotional relationships, of this world of matter. We have relationships with everything. Inside, it's complex. And there's a thing of sympathetic vibration. You guys realize that? Sympathetic does not mean I feel sorry for you. Sympathetic means it's a like kind. So when I'm vibrating, as we've shared many, many times, if you're upset and driving your car, the sympathetic vibration would be to draw every other driver that's upset to you. Because you're sharing that moment, right? And that's not what you want, right? Okay, so within us, we have vibrations that are occurring that are drawing sympathetic vibrations to them. So Spirit has been teaching me how my consciousness invites these things into my house without a direct cause and effect line. With me? So I want you to realize before we start, you know the obvious. You watch TV that scares you. What have you just invited in? Every ghost in the neighborhood. You know, you watch negative things. You're inviting those things into your house. You're inviting challenges into. You know how to take care of the input consciously. So we're not talking consciously at this point. All right. Here we go. I call these things lower frequencies, but they are thoughts and emotions that vibrate, and they're captured kind of together. They kind of live together, but I'm going to talk about 4 of them. Here we go. You ready? Okay. The first one is, how do I use my power? How do I use my power? If my power is inside of self, I have ideas within me, do I not? Creative ideas. I can be fabulous. But even when I'm using my power within and I'm being fabulous, what do I do to that fabulous creation? I might judge that as, was I successful or was I not? You see? I'm using the inside power, but I'm also not freely letting it be. There may be, and I judge, I don't know if y'all do or not, I judge. I'm using my inside power, I'm going to create something fabulous. Okay, what could I have done differently? It's not having the effect I want, blah, 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 blah. Hear me? Okay. Now, if I give outside power, if I'm using my power and I give it to something outside of self, what am I doing? I'm giving people power over me to tell me what to do, right? So this inhibits my ability to create. It invites people to use their power for their creations. So what I've just done is I've opened a door. Let's look at the one power outside of self. If I give David the power, I need to have David look at every single art piece I do because he's a master artist. And David goes, oh, Cindy, sweet Cindy. Try again. What have I done? I've opened the door for everyone to criticize anything I do. You hear? Now, does that correlate with me talking to David about art? A little bit, but not directly. If I'm giving power outside of self, I'm opening the door for people to come into my world. I'm opening the door for people to come in and take my power. I'm opening the world for me not to have a vote, for me to do what other people say. And I forgot I opened that door. I just wanted someone powerful to approve of me. Do you see how subtle it is? It's very subtle. And then when I do my creations, I'm creating, it's fabulous, I'm fabulous, and then I begin to judge myself. I've now opened the door to, again, critics. I've opened the door. If I'm going to judge me, well, come on, people. Everybody judge me. Once the vibration is in place, the sympathetic energy draws it to you. Do you hear me? So power, where is your power? The door that is open can invite critics, it can invite conflict. Because if I need to know my power, I might want to prove myself. I want to be a success. I might want to prove I can. That creates conflicts and challenges, doesn't it? If I need to prove anything, it's not going to be easy. And if I have goals, I need to be successful, I need to do this, I need to do this. Needing something to accomplish, to accomplish anything is not effortless. So we're inviting effort. Do you see how important our attitude toward our power might be? You're aware of how difficult it is to own our power and not judge our power. It's very challenging to own it and not judge it. Okay? So, number 2 is my will. From the time we're little, we're taught to assess what do we want. What do you want, baby? What do you want, baby? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? We're taught to have this desire. And if we don't know what we want, then we're not playing. You're not playing. Pay attention. You got to want something. So my will, my desires plus my investment, my will. So what can I have is normally our next question. What do you want? What can I have? Show me, world, what you have available to me. I shall select. Instead of what do I want in here, what can I have out here? So, metaphysically, we know we can have anything we want. In the world says, do you want that? I need you to work for it. Can you work for that? Can you just invest some energy in there and work for that? Metaphysically, we say, you want that? You got to claim it. You got to invest energy in it. You got to do your affirmations. You got to invest your energy, and then you can have it. Both involve effort. Both involve my will efforting into something so that a manifest comes back to me, right? And don't we get attached to our will? My will. How often do you argue with God? God, I really need this. Thank you, God. My way. Yes. Thank you, God. I really need it. My way. All the time. I really need this, God, and when it doesn't come, God, we have this resistance because we want our will. All right. So if we are wrestling with our will, which we all do, what door do we open? We're opening the door to draw people in situations that are also going to invest in your desire. They're going to help you with your desire because you're investing in your desire. And one of the things that also opens to you in that is that you never get to rest because it takes all of your energy to make that work. You'll get people to help you, but you still have to keep the investment going. So that door of workaholics, maybe some of you guys are, or that door of never having a moment to let your brain be at peace, or that door of it's all up to me. Anybody all up to me people out there? Even metaphysicians. Because we know we got to invest. We know we got to invest. All right. My will. My will. It also opens the door for people who want to use your will. At schools, they need volunteer moms. They always say, give the volunteer task to the mother who is a working mother who works the hardest. Why? She will do it. You do not give the task to the stay-at-home mom. Why? She won't do it. She's not a doer. You give it to the doers. So it also opens the door, it's all up to you, it opens the door to people also using your energy. Because you're always got to do something. Always got to do something. Okay. I know that one. Our wills create our world, And in our will, we are always looking for something measurable. In my will, I need to see it and I need to be able to measure it because I'm looking for something tactile, something that I can measure in this world. All right. It opens to so many things our brains and hearts can desire, but it shuts the door to that which is unmeasurable. What is unmeasurable? God's will. God's will you cannot measure. It is unmeasurable. You don't know where it's going. You don't know what the design is. You have no idea. You can witness it. You can be a part of it. But you cannot measure it. You have no idea the impact of the will of God. And when we are in our will, the door is shut to that. Got it? Okay. Now, was that enough for your brains? Two emotions I want to talk about. Now remember, these are spaces in your consciousness where you have all the issues about power, how I failed, how I succeeded, how I did this, how I did that. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Then you have this bucket of will, my will, I need, I desire, I'm trying, I'm succeeding, I'm failing. Oh my God, oh my God. Now we have these two emotions we're going to talk about. And the first one I'm sure you can guess. Always. Love and fear. It's fear. Fear, 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 fear. I am afraid. Fear. Fear catches up. Do you realize emotions, if you have a bucket of emotions, they do not move. You cannot logically explain to an emotion how it needs to not be there. It will laugh at you. It's a circle. Emotions get stuck. When they get stuck, they get frozen. And those frozen emotions do not change. They just sit there. So, fear is a perception of incoming harm. That's all it is. I'm perceiving that I could be harmed. I am perceiving that I could be harmed. So, we freeze when we go into fear about anything. Okay, I'll give you a really good example of fear. Because I counsel people. A lot of non-metaphysical people, too. Most of my counseling clients are not churched here. They're elsewhere. So here's a common fear. My company just got acquired. I'm afraid I'm going to get fired. I'm just afraid, I'm terrified I'm going to get fired. Okay, all right, great. So I will say to them, okay, all right, number one, do you have enough money to get you through if you have a gap in employment? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, good. All right, breathe. Number two, do you think that you are marketable in the world? Do you think you could get another job? Yes, I do. I'm really good at what I do. Okay. Why are you afraid? Because it'll look bad on my resume. Really? Because you are not a good fit for the incoming regime. You're afraid people are going to perceive you as bad. Yes. And they freeze. Does that make any sense at all? It's the idea that someone will look at me wrong. It's the idea someone will not understand that I didn't fit the incoming regime. It's, oh my God, I'm no longer acceptable to the world. So I freeze in my fear, and if I freeze in my fear and I'm afraid I'm going to get fired, guess what happens? And guess what people think when they look at my resume? What happened to them? It's really not the resume. It's after you get dug in and they actually find out what happened. Reason for termination. Do you see how little a thing that is? That's the perception of somebody else. I'm going to let the perception of somebody else create a big fear within me that's going to stop me in my tracks, and I'm going to freeze and not know what to do. That is standard operating procedure. We take something so small that has nothing to do with us, create a fear around it, create a fear around that, and then the dinosaur is there, or the saber-toothed tiger, whatever it is that we respond in fear to. It's there, created by us out of something so small. And we freeze. Okay. Fear of the perception of others. We laugh, ha, 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 we'd never do that. Or would we? Are you ever afraid of how people would view you? Okay. When we are in fear, we're frozen. We perceive harm. Everything that we fear, we shut the door to new experiences. Remember, we're opening and shutting doors? We're shutting a door to a new experience about being loved and honored, about being supported. If I'm in fear about anything, there's a door shut. So many females, I normally don't counsel with males about this because they don't come to me for this particular issue, but women will. They're wanting to manifest a new relationship, but they don't want what they had last time. And they're in so much fear that I don't want to reproduce it, that the door to the new one never opens. The door is shut to new experiences. You guys got it? Okay. Do you have an understanding of fear? Yes. And do you have an understanding that you do have fear in your body? Yes. We all do. Okay. The last emotion is this: regret. Do you know how much regret we have in our bodies? It's an emotion that says, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. I failed at some level emotionally, and you cannot argue yourself out of regret. You feel like you can't change it. There's the judgment coming in once again. I now can't trust my choices. When I regret my behavior, I can't trust my choices. Forward motion. Emotions are the essence that moves through my creative thoughts. I cannot trust that. How does regret freeze you? Freezes everything. So regret keeps our creativity in the past, and it opens the door to things that make you sad. It opens the door to things of judgment of your actions, especially the past. If you live in regret, you know you'll have people from the past all the time come and remind you of what you've done. Because the door's open. Come on, lay it on me. Everything I've done. It opens the door to things to validate you can't trust your choices. It also opens the door to saying you are not good enough, you did not do well, you're not lovable, and you cannot change what you've done. Okay. In these four things, if you can look at the pockets of them, my will, God will, my power, God power, fear, love, regret, investment. If we just look at things, if we look at those four together, we can really see how it inhibits our growth and potential. If we look at the other four, we can see how it can move us into a space of forward motion. But it is not just easy. It's not like, I'm going to be not fearful. I'm going to love now. I'm going to give God my will now. Those dotted lines don't exist. It's a journey of trial and error. It's a journey of making things happen and being humble and surrendering and back and forth. But this is also a journey of finding our value. It's finding our value in the world. With regret, recognize the good. I'm going to tell you, when I was little, I was born this way. I never wanted to hurt or harm anybody. The idea of somebody wanting to hurt or harm somebody, I have no concept for. You take this sweet little spirit and you put it into the world and it starts to talk and it has a mouth that it can be quite honest, and sometimes it's blunt and sometimes it's sharp and sometimes it's just, I should not have said that. I have regretted so much that has come out of my mouth because it startled who I was speaking to. I regret deeply things I've said. Did I believe they were true? Absolutely. Did I mean good? Absolutely. I didn't intend to hurt them. And Spirit always says to me, especially when it happens in counseling or something, when I'm prayed in and I say something and I know it startles them. It's like, oh my gosh. Spirit will say to me, were you prayed in? Yep. Were you asking that my will be done? Yep. Then let it go. Let me handle what has happened. Let me use it for good. Let me take what you're calling a mistake and let me use it for good, because I don't know if it was a mistake or not. All I know is the reaction I received was not intended. Do you hear me? So as an adult, as I do things that when I see that reaction, it's like, oh, no, 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 no. I can turn right to God. Okay, God. And God always says, shh, calm down. What were you thinking? What are you doing? Let me make it right. Let me make it right for you. Because the intention was not to hurt or harm. Therefore, hurt or harm cannot occur. We can move through this idea of harboring regret. We can actually send love back to this space of regret that we have. We can forgive ourselves for anything we perceived as not the highest and best. You understand? Okay. So, God will always use our energy for good if we allow. So regret is easy. Fear is also something that's very interesting. Do you realize that whenever you say, that can't happen for me, you're speaking from a place of fear? Whenever you say, I'm too old, too young, too this, too that, you're speaking from a place of fear. Have you had those moments, and I know you have them, I've had about 3 times in my life, where everything lined up. It was out of the blue. And my soul, my spirit, my consciousness, my reality, my oneness with God clicked. Everything got bright. And I only remember, I got this. I can do this. I have no idea what I can do. I have no idea what God was showing me. But it was that knowing I can do it. There are no barriers. I can do this. You've had those? Yes. That's when you're taking fear out of your life. That's when there's no fear. I absolutely can do this. I don't have to plan it. I don't have to think about it. I can just flow with Father, Mother, God, and I can move into the space. And God, you put my feet where they need to be. I'm saying yes. And you move forward. When we can do that, there is no fear. I'm saying yes to anything can happen. I'm saying yes to being unmeasurable. I'm saying yes to being unlimited. When I can say that, there is no fear. All right. And I wanted to read this to you. You guys remember what Jesus said in Luke? Be not afraid, O little flock, for your Father is pleased to give you the kingdom. Remember that? There's nothing that we have to be afraid of. All right, so fear. Power, next. The opinions of others can dissipate your power. I wanted to share 2 little things in the Aquarian. Oh, he's sending his disciples all out. And he says, if you're not received in kindness in any town, bear not an evil thought, do not resist. So they were going out with no money, only one set of clothing, and they were to seek out righteous people, and they were to live with them and let God take care of them. It's basically just trust God, God's going to take care of you. So I'm sending you out alone. And he says, don't resist if people are unkind to you. An evil thought of any kind will do you harm. It will dissipate your power. An evil thought of any kind will do you harm, which means if you have an evil thought toward them. You know this, the saying was, if you get a grain of sand in your shoe, shake the sand out. That means don't have ill will about the people that don't love you. Don't think negative about anybody because it takes your power away. So in holding our power to self, we need to really begin to understand the power of God in us and the power of our responsibility to hold that. When Jesus was with his disciples and they failed, Jesus was with the 3 away and the 9 failed to heal someone. They came back and he healed this young man. And they said, why were we unable to heal him? And Jesus said, your great success in all your former work has made you careless, and you forgot to recognize the power of God. Without the spirit of the word is an idle tale, and you forgot to pray. Here's the deal. If we're going to really come to owning our power and to being within, we need to understand that the truest power is God. God within me. If I pray, stay connected with God, then I don't have to worry, was I a success, was I a failure? Staying within with God. You guys getting that? Okay. These are hard for me. You know, just because I'm in the middle of it, I want to be valuable too. I want to be valuable, and I say, God, how am I doing? And God said, did you do what I asked? I said, yeah, I did. Then you're good. It's like, but God, and then when God sends me on these beautiful missions, and I get to go to another country and do some work, and I love it, I love it, I love it. And I say, God, I went one time many years ago, and it's like, we did the work, but I couldn't see what we did. I did all the work I was told to do. And I said, God, please, what did I do? Tell me. And God goes, Cindy, calm down. Did you do what I asked? Yes. Okay. But God, I want to know, was it important? Did I do good? Was it important? And God said, you're not any more important than anyone else, Cindy. You're the one that can do the work. That's why I send you. Everyone is important. Okay. But I want to feel valuable, God. I want to feel valuable. And God says, your wanting to feel valuable is a relative experience. It's a relative truth. It is how you see yourself in comparison to the world. You are not relative. You are absolute. You are forever. You are eternal. You are love. There is no value because there's nothing to compare you to. You are one with me. And I went, but I own it. I love it. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. But it's hard for us in this world to accept the cosmic consciousness that we are. That beautiful cosmic power of value that we are. So our power and our will, my will, when I am in God consciousness and doing anything that is asked of me, I am in the unmeasurable. Cannot measure the effects. I do not know. And it could just be I'm asked to speak to someone at the grocery store. It could be that it could be anything. It doesn't have to be something great and grand. But we cannot measure the effects of our presence when we are truly in the energy of God will. Sound easy? Okay. Yeah. It's a toughie. Okay. I hope that you've heard how the doors get open. How did this get in my house? How did this get in my house? I need to go back in, look at where's my power? Look at where's my will? Am I arguing with God? Look at, am I stuck in fear? Look at, am I looking back in regret? Send love to those things. Look at those things, just those 4 areas. And you'll see a lot of doors shut that let the little critters in. They'll just shut. And then you can find that peace again. All right, let's go within. Quick centering. Just breathe and feel a beautiful light come over you. And God, we open our hearts. Father, Mother God, I ask that a beautiful column of light, individual to each one, be so bright and shining around them. I ask Jesus Christ to sit with each one of us. And I would invite you to imagine that your focus can now just move right into the center of your consciousness. If it goes in your heart, if it goes up, wherever it needs to go, let your focus go to the center of your consciousness. And you should see, sense, or feel vibrations, light, pods of energy. And I want you to go into the space where the power energy is held within you. The memories, the thoughts of power, powerless, wherever, go and stand in it. The greatest power is the power of God. The greatest power is the power of love. God power is within my heart, and I am at peace. And now move to the space where will is. It should be right next door. And as you move in, you may sense or feel all of your desires flowing around. Just stand there. I choose the unmeasurable love of God. I choose God's will. God's will moves through me now. And now move to the space of fear. And feel the energy. You may feel it frozen, you may feel it stark. I say yes to love, and yes to my own greatness. I say yes to God in me. There is nothing to fear. God's love fills this place now. And feel it transforming. And now let's move to the space of regret. It's like we're making a little circle. All of my creative life force that has been held here, I call it forth, and I call it good. Father, Mother God, I lift this regret energy to you to be reinvested in new and wonderful ways. I am here. I am your light. And I am fully present. I let the regret go. Breathe and let your focus now come back to the physical body. Feel your heart. Father, Mother God, we open to realize our beautiful oneness with all, our oneness with you, and the light that is moving through us to bless this whole. And take a breath and see that light of your heart going out into the world. And we say, yea, God. And breathe and gently open your eyes. All right, well, you have homework. Yea, God.